Peace and greetings, everyone.
Hello, greetings to
Can
everyone.
everyone hear us? Just give a thumbs up or drop an emoji. Let us know if you can hear us okay. All right, we got it. All right, perfect. All right. So peace and greetings, everyone. Welcome, welcome. We're here on behalf of our company, Abundant African Goddess Tours. And we're so happy to see you all here. We want to thank you for responding promptly to the Zoom. The first thing we wanted to do is just kind of open up by uh, acknowledging our soon-to-be president, Ibrahim Traore. You know, for all of us who are in the room, we're soon to be sworn in. So we're taking on new respect, new identity. And so we just want to start with a salute and giving respect to our soon-to-be president and all that he's doing and sending protection over him. My name is Jamila. I'm also known as Goddess Queen Jamila.
And my name is Seku Seka, mm, your ideal host, actually. Yes, so this is actually very amazing for us, and it is really interesting for me, particularly, to be part of this. And we want to welcome you guys. We want to congratulate you guys for being part of something like this first. It's not something that you will find everywhere in these modern days. So we thank God and pray that we are actually here today, and we are about to witness something very amazing and something extraordinary. You know, moving is not something easy, and we know there's a lot of things behind that is not actually showcased, on the social media and others. So me, as an African and a Pan-Africanist, I was born and raised in the Gambia and Senegal, which I spend most of my time. And I've been moving around the continent, from different places, in different countries around. So I gathered a lot of experience, moving around Africa. And here with my beautiful wife, was born and raised, on the other side of the world, in a different culture. So I know for the fact
Dada.
that it's not easy to transition from the Western world,
Press start.
either from the Europe,
Yeah.
America,
Yeah.
all the way down to Africa, especially if this is your first time, you know, there's a lot of things, that need to be put into considerations, and you're definitely not gonna find these things on on social media or on the internet
You
like
can
that.
use it.
Uh, so the purpose of this upcoming tour, you know, that we are actually catering for everyone that is, coming to Burkina Faso for the citizenship, is to make sure that we bridge that gap, for you guys to have a smooth transition, based on wherever you are coming from. We just want to make sure that while you are in Burkina Faso for the citizenship, you get to have that peace and safety, you know, inside the Burkina Faso, while the citizenship ceremony is still ongoing. You know, we don't.
Can I just say, um, the biggest thing for us to kind of just name and point out is the fact that coming to Africa, visiting Africa is not like visiting, Paris or Australia or Canada. It's not like going to the Bahamas, right? This is a different territory on the opposite side of the world. And I know you all know that. Many of you actually live here in Africa. You live in Kenya, you've visited Ghana, you visited South Africa. So I know many of you have firsthand experience that there are levels to this. There are absolutely positively levels to visiting Africa. And the biggest thing is understanding that Burkina Faso in Central Africa is very underdeveloped. Based off of the last meeting with Dr. Arikana, she has emphasized how we're coming in kind of as a construction crew, right? We're coming to build the things that the country has not built. We're coming to lend our time, lend our expertise, lend our resources. So for you making this trip, there's a lot of things that you cannot Google. You're not going to be able to find those things on Google. You're not going to be able to use Google Maps to even get proper direction. Those maps may not be updated. It's just, there's just a lot of unknown unknowns. And so Sekou and I have been leading retreats and trips here on the continent for years. We've led retreats in a variety of different countries. And what we do is we provide services that allow us to establish things boots on the ground prior to your arrival, so that we're not relying on the internet, so that we're not Googling, so that we're not searching and hoping for answers, but so that we can actually go there and see this is what exists and this is what's there. So there's a lot of variables and a lot of things that you may not even know to prepare for. One of the things that I point out when I'm leading retreats is how when people are coming on a retreat, they think to themselves like, oh, I can just like go on Airbnb and book it.
And just go ahead.
Right. And it's very possible. You can go on Airbnb and book something. But do you even know the questions to ask when booking in a country like Central Africa? Some of those questions, I'm going to tell you some of those questions. Some of those questions are, do you have a generator? Right? Because we know that there are so many power outages, and that's not one of your normal questions. You're
Functioning one.
a functioning generator. And then not only do you have a generator, but the second level of that question is, who's expected to put petrol in the generator? Those are things that I had to find out in coming to live in Africa. We currently live in Tanzania. I know we didn't say that at the beginning.
Yeah.
But we currently live in Tanzania. We've moved, we've both moved. I'm from Atlanta. Sekou is a Senegambian. And I packed up and moved to the continent. Sekou moved from Gambia to Tanzania after we got married. So we're obviously, migrants within the continent. So that gives us a lot of information, and that puts us in a place to be able to make these types of trips easy on repatriates, easy on people who are accustomed to a different style of living.
Mhm. Exactly. I'm glad you said it perfectly, baby.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we are just trying to bridge that gap for you. And for me personally, I know there's a lot of, differences, from the people that are living in the continent and our brothers that are abroad as well, the diaspora community. So I am here to make sure that I bridge that gap for you people. I am here to represent you guys, to create that bond and connection, between you guys and the local people. The language is not just one of the barriers. A lot of people think it might just be the language, but the language is not just one of the barriers. There's a lot, the custom, the culture, manners, the shock, you know, there's a lot, there's a list of the things, that, separate us from the people that are living in the diaspora. And me, I have a first-hand experience in it. That's one of the things that what make me stand out, to understand both perspectives, from the people on the other side and the people that are living on the continent as well. And they have a lot of cultural differences, especially in the societies of West Africa, in particular where I was born and raised,
Central Africa.
I'm looking forward to the central, even to the east side where we are living right now in Tanzania. And most of these things are not being like said, or are not being published on the internet or on the social media. So, which means you guys are actually left in the blue. So you can Google it like,
We'll call it the dark, babe, not
the
the blue.
dark. Notice.
Left in the blue.
Like, yeah, we call it. So you can find all those things there. So right now we are making sure that we have a specific itinerary, within the duration of the citizenship ceremony, where you guys just gonna relax, you know. You don't have to go through all that struggle to find out where I need to be tomorrow. How am I going to get there? Is it safe? Who's going to take me there? Am I, violating their, community laws, or am I, doing something that is against the cultural values and the norms, including the translation from the French all the way down, from the English to the French to the local language as well. So we gonna sort all of that out for you guys,
And ladies, babe, because of
Yeah, I mean,
ladies
yes,
too.
the ladies and all.
Right.
Yeah.
So what we want to do in this presentation is just show you a little layout of, or the entire layout really of the tour so far. We want to kind of break down, highlight the costs of what we're charging. We want to highlight the services and what that comes with. With my husband talking about the challenges, there's so many small challenges that come up in places like, this, getting shook down, small bribes. It's just a part of life. It's not necessarily being targeted because you're Black American or being targeted because you're a foreigner. Sekou will tell you that he's gotten shaken down many of times, for bribes and things like that. And what we're doing by providing this tour service is really showing up as a buffer, right? Showing up as a buffer so that we can kind of hold space for you within our container. And so that you're not experiencing a lot of the hardships that you might that might make your trip challenging and uncomfortable. There's already going to be so many uncomfortable things. I already know. There's already going to be so many discomforts. Like, let's be honest, even the way that things are being handled with ADDI, it's challenging because there's not been a lot of the details, a lot of the nuances, a lot of the organizational things that would give you peace of mind. There's been so many things that we would like to have that have not been presented front and center. And we're working around that. We're doing the best that we can. And yet we want to make sure that at least your lodging is set, at least your housing is set, at least you're not scrambling last minute, at least you're not dealing with price gouges because your housing is last minute, or you've got housing but the food that you're being fed is too local, right? Because that's a real concern as well.
The standards.
The standards, are very, very different. So what Sekou is going to do, I'm not doing, but Sekou is going to go again to Burkina and take a look around and be a scout, because that's what we do before we lead anyone anywhere. We cannot lead you anywhere when we don't even know what we're looking at and where we're going. So he's going to be the scout. He's going to go boots on the ground, check everything out. And the beautiful thing again is that him being married to me means that he knows the standard that we are accustomed to, because
Of course not.
that is the standard by which I live. So it makes things a lot more fluid. So what we want to do is just break down things for you. I'm going to go ahead and share a screen. Baby, you can, anything else you want to say, go ahead while I'm sharing the screen.
I just wanted to give them a little bit of insight on what you are saying. about me being on the ground. So me being on the ground is to make sure, like the accommodation, what you might see on the internet if you book directly, fancy pictures, amenities that provided there on the list, it might not be that. So I have to be on the ground to see where everybody's going to sleep,
Right.
from the bed, how the bed is looking.
See, that's another thing, living in Africa. Africa,
Always.
like you talking about me? Yes, we are talking about you. This is another thing that
Mhm.
you have to prepare for living here. Let me go ahead. Go ahead, baby.
Yeah. So I was saying I have to be there to sort out everything on the ground, making sure everything is according to, plan and what's being said, The standard is very, very important, especially for the people coming on the other side. And most of the time, on the African continent, what they call the high standard, what they call luxury is sometimes not the same, if you're on the ground. So you might find yourself in a situation where, okay, I'm gonna book and I find myself a luxury place to sleep, but while you get there, it's not exactly what you expect.
All right, you all.
You received the call that the meeting.
Yeah, you're on, babe.
All right.
Is this still logged in?
No. Okay. Yeah. So we already created a site and we already created a package, for each and everyone that wants to sign in, which is inclusive package deal from the accommodation, all the way to the transportations, to the daily meals, we get everything covered that we believe, we get all the basic things covered that we believe can make this trip, a memorable one for everyone that is coming over for this citizenship. So we don't want anybody to go through the hustles or find themselves in the situations where they are very disappointed or what they were expecting. We just want to cut that bad experience that a lot of people face by coming solo, to the continent, going through all those obstacles. We just want to make sure we give you a package deal whereby we take care of everything for you. I will be on the ground. I will be supervising.
Hold on, hold on, hold on. Hold on.
Okay.
Sorry.
You connected?
Yeah, I
Okay.
just. Okay. So let's go ahead and jump into this because it looks like there's might be another meeting coming up. So this is the page. This is the page that you'll be we'll be sending this page out or dropping it in the chat. But this is just what it looks like at the top. It has the dates there at the top from October the 26th to November the 8th, and this is November the 8th at night. So most of you will be checking out, I think, November the 9th. But as we've already mentioned, Africa can be a little challenging to navigate, right? So we want to make it as easy as possible and as comfortable as possible for you to be able to return home and go through this process. So we're not really a tour company, we're a homecoming service. Everything that we do is about coming back to self, coming back to home. I have been leading retreats myself for years, and then getting married to Sekou and living here on the continent, it made things a lot easier for me to be able to host family, host people coming from the diaspora to the continent. So we're really hoping to make things easy for you when you come. We know that traveling to Africa can be challenging. Airport pickup, in Burkina's case, navigating through French or Moore, lodging, meals, translation, navigating to different places, knowing which clubs are safe, because we always include nightlife in our tours. That is one of our tour stops. It's not mandatory. You don't have to go. But again, by the time Sekou is finished looking around, he'll have a list of different places that we can go to enjoy ourselves. And clubs and nightlife is a part of that.
I already have some of the list.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of finding out.
Exactly. Seeing for
Like,
yourself.
yeah.
So, but we will be also planning some spiritual infused things and community things. So, the goal is for you not to have to figure this out alone. There's already so many other things on your plate with getting citizenship, having to figure out how to collect your passport. And that's also something that we'd like to include. You know, I know that we're getting what looks like a birth citizenship or something, like some kind of birth papers. I'm not sure exactly. If you know what it is, please drop it in the chat. But that means that we'll have to come back and get passport stuff later. So what I am hoping to do is for the people who are enrolled in this tour is to facilitate that for all who are signing on, meaning that you don't have to fly back to Burkina. I will make arrangements to pick up my passport and pick up all of my group's passport. I will have to have like a notarized document to make sure it's okay, but I'll pick up everything for my people. And then when it's ready, I will just work out the shipment. I travel back and forth to the States, so I will make sure I work out that shipment. You will pay the cost of shipment, but I will travel there and make sure your document gets to you in hand. So that is something that I am looking forward to facilitating with the government so that everyone who attends our tour can have their documents and does not have to make that trip all the way back just to pick up a passport. So that is a very big perk. But yeah, so, obviously integrity, systems are different, culture is different. We are going to be collaborating with elders, working with the community, working with people locally. We've already made some contact with people who are Burkinabe.
Burkinabe people.
Yeah, we've already, connected with some people who live there, who are tours. I've already spoken to a translator. So we're setting things up currently. That way this experience can be what we make it, it can be what we make it. So we've had clients in the past. I don't know if you want to talk about clients. I think you should just talk about Auntie Vicky, because if you start trying to just talk about Auntie Vicky
Yeah,
and keep it simple.
Yeah, Auntie Vicky, I like like to say is my auntie.
Right. Well, first of all, how old is she?
Auntie Vicky is in the 70s.
I think she's 72.
Yeah, Auntie Vicky is in her 70s, and imagine someone who is already in her 70s that find herself in the continent.
Yeah, for the first time. Had never been to Africa.
She has a lot of shock, a lot of information before, coming back to the continent. Which, yeah, like before coming to the continent, she has a lot of, so the first time I remember Auntie Vicky, we were in Ghana, Auntie Vicky had to make a call instant. I'm like, Auntie Vicky, who are you calling? What is wrong? He was like, I need to make sure, my sons and my family on the other side see exactly what is happening here, and the information that they have been fed with is not exactly what it looks like, So her experience, like to make it short, her experience was completely the opposite from what she has been hearing about Africa. And the experience that we actually provided for her was unique to the point she doesn't have to go through that. Also, her transition to this other side was very smooth.
Even from the airport.
From the airport, the documentation, the immigration, African to African, it's not even easy, talk less of someone who is not African, you know, coming with a different passport.
Yeah.
So it's a whole different experience. So we had to make sure we get people, you know, straight away, the immigration from the airport, you know, to make sure that the documentation and everything is just smooth. So her experience was really good, was just very overwhelming, and she was really happy to move around with us within Africa. You know, we did not just visit Ghana, but we ended up visiting Ghana, you know, Senegal, Gambia. So
She went on a world tour.
like, yeah.
She ended up in Tanzania, so she went through 4 African countries in one sitting, and it was just an experience. But what I have to acknowledge that experience was curated a lot because of Sekou, you know, and then partially because of me, because this is, again, it's the standard, right? It's knowing that this is the standard, knowing this is what we're used to, and being able to deliver as close as we can to that standard. So, and then with Sekou obviously being local, being able to, you know, be recognized as African, being a continental African, there's a lot of benefit in moving around with Sekou. So, and then not to mention the fact that Sekou is 6'3", so you know he's coming with that energy. You know what I mean? So it's just a lot. It's a lot of perks. It's a lot of benefit in being able to travel in this way. So you know, with Auntie Vicky, with other clients that we've had, there's always positive feedback, and I'm not gonna say this because it's us. I'm gonna say this because it's the reality. The reality is, in Africa, it's not necessarily what you know. There's a lot of who you know. There's a lot of who you know. It's not what you can Google or how smart you are. You know, I have been here for 5 years, and I've lived in Gambia. I've lived in Tanzania. I've stayed in Kenya, you know, long term. I've stayed in South Africa long term. I've been to Nigeria. I got initiated in Nigeria. I have been to about 13 countries on the continent. I've been to Rwanda. I stayed there as well. There's so many countries that I've been to, even Egypt. I stayed in Egypt when I first got here. And I will say that it's not a what you know type of place. It's absolutely who you know. I've walked into hospitals and had a hard time getting services, had a hard time getting what I needed because I didn't know the right people. It wasn't just being able to Google it. It was about Googling it.
Not even money.
Right, and it wasn't even about money, because sometimes, you know, it's not a Western place. Money's not gonna buy you everything. Money's not gonna give you that type of access. Sometimes you just need a name that you can call or a phone number. So that's really what I've learned over the course of the last 5 years living on the continent. Who you know makes a very, very big difference. So knowing us and knowing our expertise, that is what will separate you from other people who, as you come to Burkina and people are going through this experience, you'll hear a variety of different things. You're going to hear people complain, there's no water, water ran out, there's no hot water. I remember when we had another elder, Auntie Norma, I think Auntie Norma is 77, and Sekou didn't meet her. I hosted her. When Auntie Norma was coming from Atlanta to Rwanda, when I was hosting that trip in Rwanda, I spoke to her beforehand, and she told me, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to come to Rwanda. I've even been taking cold showers to prepare myself to come to Rwanda. And I said, to come to Africa, I've been taking cold showers. And I was like, you're taking cold showers for what? And she's like, well, I know there's not going to be any hot water. Honey, stop, stop, stop. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. This is we're our tour company, our retreat company is Abundant African Goddess, Abundant African Tours, Abundant African Retreats. We are erring on the side of abundance. We're not coming here to suffer. We didn't come here to suffer. All right. So we want to make things as comfortable as possible for you all, because that's how you're going to get an enjoyable experience and get 5 stars. Yeah. All right, so let's talk about the price of the retreat, what's included. I don't know if you want to explain this.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so the things that are actually included in the retreat, is highlighted there, it's about 13 days, like we mentioned there, like zero stress. So you don't have to worry about anything else. We will have to take care of everything on the list here for you, and even if you have some of the things as well which you will like to do, or some of the things that you wanted to do personally as well, we are open to helping you, to get everything that you need while you're in Burkina Faso. So for the meantime, the list is here, from the airport pickup, meet and greet, the nightlife, the night of comfortable accommodations. So the meals is actually the 2 meals per day, which is the breakfast and the dinner
Every day.
every day, from the day one all the way to the 13 days. We will be the one to handle that for you.
Right.
And
And let me just say with the meals, the meals are we every tour that we do, we have mandatory meals for repatriates. And part of the reason is because, again, like Sekou mentioned earlier, sanitation standards are different across the board. Sanitation can be variable. Um, like you can think that a restaurant is going to be 4 stars or 5 stars, and it's not. And so what we're really trying to do is alleviate some of the risks that you might take in eating something that is harmful, or that wasn't, didn't receive proper care and preparation. So we're really just trying to alleviate those type of things and make sure that we can, again, cook within our standards. So we will be able to accommodate your dietary requests. I personally, I don't eat any harsh meats. I'm a pescatarian, so I'm already outside of the the realm of African dietary normalcy. So, and I know that there are other people who have other dietary requests, vegetarian or ovo pescatarian, where you eat eggs but not drink milk. So I know that there are a variety of different meal requests, and our goal is to be able to provide you with local dishes, absolutely, if you'd like to try it, but also, yeah, but also familiar foods every evening for dinner.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the other thing is the full city tours and the cultural excursions as well. So from the transportation, moving around, Ouagadougou, we will be the one to handle all of that. As long as you do the payment, you don't have to worry about anything that has to do with that. We also get someone to translate on board in case if you want to ask some questions, you want to link up with the elderly people in the community as well. We want to bridge that gap to make sure that all your questions are answered, and they're directly from the sources as well. Sometimes it's very important in Africa to deal with the elderly, because the elderly people, they
They
know,
give you your blessing.
yeah, they give you
the blessings.
they
Yeah.
give the blessings, and they have the history of the place, and they know more about the place in particular.
Mhm.
So all the answers, we will make sure that they're all been provided, and the language support is also provided. There is no language barrier or gap in between. So everybody needs to understand or get answers to the questions that they have. And then the citizenship as well, the citizenship ceremony, then we will definitely be there as well to assist you guys on some of the things you're gonna need, ladies and gentlemen. I just like to use guys. So
Or you could just say family.
yeah, family. Exactly. That would be a good word to use.
Yeah.
Because
Let me just talk about some of the concierge service for daily needs. So again, we're working with you intimately. That means that if you have needs, let's say you're taking particular medications, or there's some things that we need to know health-wise, then we need to set that up in advance. One of the things that we require outside of this package, so outside of purchasing the package with us, we do require that you get travel insurance. And that's another thing that other tours will not require. But based off our previous experience, there are so many different things that can happen on the continent that locals may not be prepared for, okay? And what we want to ensure is that if something does happen, that you can get the medical care that you need, Sasa Evi, which means as soon as possible. So what we are going to be doing is providing you with the travel insurance information that we use, so that way, if there's anything that happens, you can get airlifted out. You can just have the medical care that you need. Even for us living in Tanzania, it's a real thing. If we didn't have proper medical, then we would have to get airlifted to South Africa. So that's a real thing. And it's something that we think about. Again, I think about because I'm here every day. I'm not visiting, I live here. And I know the reality of what people go through. There's so many repatriates coming back to Africa every single month, every single year. And you all watch these YouTube channels, you watch these accounts, you go online, you Google it, and you see these repatriates who are posting their accounts and how well they're doing. What you don't see are the people who don't post on YouTube. You don't see the people who have fallen sick. There's people who have gotten locked up. Locked up and abroad is a real thing. There's so many other things that you don't see that repatriates are experiencing when they travel to countries, especially countries that are underdeveloped. Underdeveloped countries come with a higher risk. So we really just want to make sure.
Health system is not the same.
Absolutely. Every country's health system is different. So because Burkina Faso is still a developing country, we want to make sure that you are covered. We want to make sure your family is covered and that you are safe and that you are protected. Because at this point, by the time you sign on to be in one of our retreats, we're family. When we're us preparing dinner every evening, we'll be hosting you with dinner every evening. You'll be at our place, sitting at our table in Burkina every evening. We'll be sitting around talking at a dinner table, enjoying each other and getting to know each other.
Basically, an African family dinner.
It's an African family dinner.
So we're not trying to do everything by the Western, standards or ways of doing it, because you are in Africa. Africa is completely different. So we want to introduce you to a whole different, community and a whole different culture as well.
Yeah.
So that's why we always organize things in a way that is in alignment with the African ways of doing things as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. So this is the price for the tour. Some of you have already received the flyer. So you've seen that there is a full tour package, and that is for people who need accommodations, you need lodging, you want the whole package, meals and everything. I will say that initially, this price, was about $700 higher. I think about $700 higher. Yeah, and I had to talk to my husband about really digging in and making it affordable, because I know you're already booking plane tickets to come from the States. I know you're already getting your stuff together. You're packing up your bags. You're having to buy clothes. You're having to buy different things. Some of you have more than one family member coming. So simply because of the fact that we understand the expense that's at hand here, we wanted to make sure that this was as affordable as possible, and really just providing this service, because I've been telling I've been telling my sister, I've been telling Dava for 3 weeks, like, I already know. What I know to be true is if I didn't talk to Sekou about organizing this tour, I wouldn't feel like we're in integrity. I wouldn't feel in integrity, because I would be traveling to Burkina and I would be well taken care of, and my meals would be 5-star and my accommodations would be 5-star, and I would be moving around with ease because I live here. But then I would be hearing every time I run into a diaspora, and I'd be hearing, oh my God, they didn't do this and they didn't have that and they didn't do this and they didn't have, and girl, did you know I told them I wanted spaghetti and they gave me penne pot. Like, I already know. And so to be in integrity, not to just show up and to be like, see, I knew it. I had to sit my husband down and be like, hey, babe, we got to do something. We got to preemptively strike because we already know. So this is what we came up with. This is what Sekou generously is offering, you know, for his time, his service, and all the things. So everything is here, babe. Please tell them about your payment plans and everything that you have.
Yeah, so as it is listed there, like the full package is 2006, like $2,600. So in case, you know, I know some of them have already,
Some of you,
or some of,
probably.
yeah, I know some of you are already like booked a place or reserved accommodations. So if you have already done that and you feel like you're comfortable with what you have reserved, then it's fine. You can still go ahead and opt for a different package as well, which is the 1,500 USD. You know, that includes the whole 13th days. So it's a full package as well. It's just the accommodation that is outside of it.
So that would
So
include one meal. So you would have dinner, okay?
yeah,
Yeah, because you
that's
wouldn't,
important.
yeah, you would have dinner, and then you would have all the other services, the transportation services, the tours, all of the moving around, the ceremonies that we plan, you would have access to that. The nightlife trips, you would have access to that. Any concierge services that you would need Sekou to set up for you if you were like, I need someone to help me plan a birthday party, then Sekou would be able to help you do that. So those types of things would be part of it if you are in the tour only package.
Yeah, so and we have installment as well, because you know I know sometimes it's not easy to promptly drop something to people, and people have different budget lists as well. They have other things outside, to manage your budget flexibly.
It's budget, babe.
Okay, excuse my West African accent. So
Bucket.
so your budget is definitely, we just try and come up with the installment plan in place. That way, we can help people as well to arrange themselves. Yeah, so the three installment is actually, but the first deposit is 1,000 USD. Then the remaining balance you can actually split it into two payments. But everything just have to be completed before the 15th of August.
The
And
deposit
the
needs to be,
deposit,
yeah.
everything have to be completed before the 15th of
The
August.
deposit has, and when you say everything has to be completed, they
The
think of all the
deposit,
payments.
yeah, I'm talking about the deposit
Deposit,
here.
right, okay, just
Yeah,
to be clear.
so the deposit needs to be completed as well. And it's the same thing for the other package with the accommodations. So that one too is the same, but it's just two, which means the first one is 800 USD, then the final payment, which was 700. So we will definitely advise, everyone, online right now, if you are ready for it and you feel like you want to book, you can go ahead and start securing the place for yourself, because we have a limited number as well. So we cannot accommodate everyone.
Right.
And that's the reality, because we want to make sure everybody is in the good space and enjoy the whole 13 days throughout this journey. And that way we are not taking everyone in. So
Right. So right now we have already booked about 6 rooms um for your stay. And what I want you to know about the rooms is that the room quality and comfort is our priority, right? So the quality and the comfort is the first and second priority. The third priority is the location. There are going to be some people who are going to book Airbnbs, and when they get there, they're going to realize those Airbnbs are 40 minutes out of the city on a dirt road, and it's hard to get in and it's hard to get out. So we have focused on the quality and the comfort and then the location, right? Because the location needs to be central to Ouagadougou. Now,
and the dirt road, there's a lot of them.
there's a lot of dirt roads, but what I want you to understand about the hotels, and this is something that I want you to know, regardless, I don't advise anybody to book Airbnbs because you have to cover these other components. You have to cover the meals. You're in an area, you're not familiar with the neighborhood. And just like I tell my children when they travel, is people are going to see you that you will never see. You won't be seeing the people, but they're going to see you. You're going to stand out because you're not local, and they're always going to, there are always going to be eyes, people looking outside the window, people seeing you, and you won't see them. So just, I never advise for people to book Airbnbs. There's going to be hundreds of us all in Ouagadougou at the same time, which is really going to be a beautiful event, like a whole family reunion. But it's also going to increase the awareness on what Americans have, and people are going to be spending money lavishly, not knowing the prices, not knowing the prices, not knowing the prices. So I want to just put that out there, because again, our focal points are our focal points, and we will not deviate from
And
quality.
talking about that spending that you're saying, like, it's not because you are from America, so that you need to understand that, like,
Yeah, as a
even
foreigner.
as long as you're a foreigner,
Mhm.
you are already in that category. It
Right.
doesn't matter where you're from. So even me moving around Africa as an African born and raised, I still face the same challenges.
Right.
So it's okay. So you just have to know that it has nothing to do with because you are from the America or wherever other side of the other third world. So we are making sure that you don't go through all of that. So what's the fair price? That's what you're gonna pay. And I personally, I make sure that happens, on the ground. So nobody takes advantage of anybody else who is coming over there right now. So anybody who joins our tour, we definitely gonna make sure you don't fall into those, situations where you spend money and then later you end up hearing different things about it. You realize that they overcharged you, so we're not into all of that. So everything is going to be sorted when it comes to those kind of situations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we want to just go ahead. We don't want to take up your time all day, but we know we do have a few questions. So let's go ahead and get some questions. And we see Brother Yako wants to contribute to the conversation. So let me figure out.
Shout out to you, brother.
Yeah, let me figure out how to if there are any questions, please just put the hand up. I don't know how to coach you how to do that. But if there's any questions, you can put your hand up, and I will
Questions on the chat, bro.
I will press unmute so you can talk. But I know there was.
Another one was asking about the citizenship certificate.
Oh, I think they were answering my question.
Okay.
Sis, did you still have a question?
My mom is 70 and is coming with me.
Oh, okay, nice. So we have a 70-year-old mama who's coming. Yeah, and Sekou has a thing with the elders. They all love him. They really love us.
Yeah, your mom is definitely welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so the sister in the chat, there was a sister in the chat. I did see a question here.
Okay.
Oh, if I have my own lodging, will you pick me up? We can arrange that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name, sis. But the question is, if I have my own lodging, will you pick me up from the airport to get to the lodging? Absolutely. If you are going with the non-lodging package, then again, we're just here. Think of us like cousins. We're the cousins.
We can facilitate that.
We're the sister, we're the brother. We're gonna make sure that you are safe and that things are comfortable. We'll work that out. That's not a problem. There was another question about the itinerary. I know that quite a few people were saying that they wanted to wait. There was a brother who messaged me. I don't think he's on the call, but he said he wanted to wait until ADDI published their itinerary or published their tour people before booking. And my advice would be book as early as possible and keep in mind that what our services are offering versus ADDI. I don't know who ADDI is going to suggest to you all, but I will say that booking earlier and having that peace of mind, securing everything early is the best decision always. The other thing that I will say is if you book with ADDI suggestion and they are a local company, then the price may be $1,000. And it's gonna be $1,000 worth of pain and suffering. Because we know that this is a 2-week trip. And what are they gonna serve you for $1,000? What are you gonna be eating? Where are you gonna be staying? What is, the bed is gonna be, is it gonna be comfortable? We just wanna be realistic. We just wanna be realistic about what you're getting for our specific services. Another person asked me about itinerary and said that they wanted to
Your story is here.
be sure, hold on, let me just say this, babe.
Okay.
Yeah, they wanted to be sure that our itinerary will not interfere with ADDI's itinerary. It won't. And the way that we ensure that is that even though the trip is about 13 days long, there will be days in our itinerary where we don't have anything planned. And we won't have anything planned so that you can have that free time to enjoy the city. Now, what I love to do anytime I have free days is I always have suggestions, right? So I'll be able to say, there's a spa over here if you want to relax, or there is a movie house over here, or there's a cultural village over here, and they're offering these experiences, but
Events.
even events, but you would get the opportunity to choose what you wanted to do with those free days. Now, how does that tie into the itinerary? What that means is, let's say we make an itinerary for, those 10 or 9 leftover days. If ADDI jumps up and says, hey, we're gonna have our citizenship ceremony. We're gonna have our citizenship ceremony on Tuesday, right? So what we would do is we would move our event out of Tuesday and put it on one of the free days. And that way we have that flexibility, right? Because we're all coming there for the same thing. We're all coming to be sworn in as citizens. So there's nothing in our itinerary that could be so important that it would interfere with what we're actually coming for, which is the citizenship ceremony. So I wanted to make sure that you understand that fully so that you are not worried about, well, I need to wait for ADDI. I would not suggest that because I feel like they're overwhelmed, and understandably so. This is 1,000 people, and managing that is a very big deal. Like it's a very big deal, and they've not done tours before. They've not done group trips. This is the first time. So we're sitting in history, we're at a monumental precipice for history. And so we want to do our part to make sure that you are good, that you're comfortable. We still have some people coming in. Yeah, so we want to make sure we do our part so that you're comfortable. So for those of you who are just coming in now, welcome,
You're
peace and
welcome.
greetings, Kati Busana. I'm Jamila, but my name is Goddess. Everybody calls me Goddess or Goddess Queen. And
I am Sekou Seka, one of your hosts.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or the host.
Yeah,
I'm just
the main host.
Yeah, the main host.
Actually,
The
yes.
host with the most. I'm just an assistant. This is not my direct ministry. Okay.
I'll
Give
be
thanks and
hosting
praise.
you.
So we see that there are some messages in the chat, babe. Do you want me to read those?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay.
Yesrael was suggesting
Okay.
the plugs.
Yes, of course. So,
Of
and we
course.
do make a list. So we always have lists of things to buy.
Yeah.
When you sign up, we have that list. And let me just say this too, because I completely forgot about this, but every single tour that we've ever taken people, every single retreat, every time people travel with us, we always do local language courses. We always do local language courses. French is going to be perfect for anybody who already knows French.
Yeah.
But for the majority of people, the majority of people are not speaking French. The majority of people are speaking Moray, right?
Yeah.
The tribe is Mosi, and they're speaking Moray. And Moray, the language Moray, knowing how to give greetings, knowing how to say thank you, knowing how to say good morning, I'm telling you, basic things are going to take you a very long way. So as we are getting closer, we're going to have these language classes, which is why it's so important for you to pay your deposit, ASAP so we can get you in, and that way you can start with us. You can still do the free French classes. I know the brother is offering free French classes in the group. You can still do that, right?
It's good to have free French classes
Right.
that for you to be able to speak some French at least. But you just have to be aware that local languages are very important in Africa, as a
Absolutely.
lot of people don't get that education level.
Mm-hmm.
So you might find someone who cannot speak French,
Right.
a lot of them in
And
Burkina Faso.
that's something that I experienced when I was
Mhm.
in Senegal. So I went to Senegal initially in 2020, and I went with my daughter. And I really underestimated things, you all. I didn't realize how challenging travel would be for me as a woman, navigating through the continent. I didn't realize how traveling would be complicated for me traveling with a child. There were just a lot of things that I didn't expect. And one of the things that caught me off guard was I thought Senegal was a French speaking country, and I get there and it's like like your local taxi driver is not speaking French. He didn't learn French in school. He didn't go to school. He didn't learn French. The people at the grocery store, the people who may be cleaning your home, they don't know that language. That language is still reserved for the educated. And so the local language, Wolof, the local languages are always spoken because before the colonizer came in and started to impose his language and his linguistic standard, people had their own language. So those languages are well and alive in these countries. So I just want to make sure I pour that in the pot, so that you understand how significant that is. Yeah, so any other questions? There were some other things in the chat.
The recording.
Yes.
So
Yes, so I can definitely. All right, sorry about that. So are there any other questions? We lost the chat, so I can't see anything can you see? Anything from the chat? Yeah, we lost the chat, so we can't see anything that was there previously. But are there any other questions that you have? Are there any concerns? Anyone who is hearing right now who is like, absolutely positively, I'm ready to join. Can I connect with you right now so that I can get signed up? I don't see any ADDI meeting. Oh, okay, Saturday, nope. What is the meeting about? Does anyone know?
the Zoom link.
She's in, yeah. So any questions at all? We want to make sure that you have all the information that you need before you jump off the call. That way you're not confused about anything.
Yeah. Anything for us that you feel like you want to ask, especially for me, I'm here to answer all your questions. You know, Sekou is here, Pan-Africanist. So feel free to ask any questions, even outside of Burkina Faso as well. And the brother that was asking about the power banks. Yeah, we definitely send a whole list of the things to our clients that are definitely gonna, anything that you guys are gonna need, we will make sure we send it to everyone that book with us.
Yeah.
So you don't have
Thank
to
you,
worry about
Richard.
those.
Thank you. We'll see you soon, hopefully. All right, so again, we've posted the link in the chat, so that way you can go there. The links are all active, so you can book now. You don't have to wait. But if there are other things that you do want to ask, if there are things that you are curious about, now is the best time to ask.
Yeah.
So you can get all the information. And somebody else may have that same question, so.
And we have limited spots, so it's better if you have any questions or any doubts. Right now, there's contact details as well. My contact details is there. You can reach out to me on WhatsApp or send me an email. Then we will respond to you and provide all the answers that you need.
Okay, so it looks like that is it. We're gonna hop off, and if, does anybody have anything else to say? Anyone have anything they want to share in the moment before we close out? All right, I'm not putting any pressure on anyone, but Priestess, do you have anything you want to say? All right, so I'm gonna close out. It's been wonderful to go ahead and sit here and talk to you all. Go ahead, Ben.
So I'm saying welcome once again. You know, ñu ngi leen a dalal si jàmm. Karibuni. You know, mbalbe konton na. You know, so welcome.
All right, so we will see you all sooner rather than later. And we're just gonna leave this up here for anyone who has any other questions or wants any other information. All right.
So you can just go ahead and click the links if you want to book now. So
Yeah. All right. All right. Thank you.
bye bye.